I was sitting at the kitchen table, nursing a lukewarm coffee and flipping through the rental listings in the local paper. The house was quiet except for the sound of Lisa's chair scraping against the tiled floor. She was across from me, fussing with her makeup, pausing every so often to glance at her phone. She looked perfectly at ease, but I could feel the weight of her avoidance. "Mark, your coffee is cold," she said without looking up. "You have been buried in that newspaper for half an hour. What are you looking at?" "Rental ads," I replied. She laughed lightly, but there was a nervous edge to it. "Rental ads? Are you planning to invest in real estate now? Since when are you interested in that?" "Not investing," I said, folding the paper slowly. "Just looking for an apartment." Her makeup brush stopped mid-swipe. She stared at me, her smile frozen like she thought I was joking. "An apartment? Why would you need an apartment? We live here. Together." I shrugged. "Options. It is good to have them." The smile was gone now, replaced by a frown. "Options? You are not making any sense." I looked her straight in the eye. "Maybe because I am tired of pretending everything is fine." She blinked as if I had slapped her. "What is that supposed to mean?" "You tell me, Lisa," I said, leaning back in my chair. "While you are at it, tell me why I should let Liam step foot in my house again." The color drained from her face. "What does Liam have to do with this?" "You think I do not know?" I asked, my voice steady. "I know about the two of you, his little cabin in the woods, the lies about late meetings and girls' nights." Her fork clattered onto her plate, and she sat frozen in place. "Mark, you are being paranoid. Liam, he is your best friend. Why would you even think that?" "Because I am not blind," I said, standing up and grabbing an envelope from the counter. I tossed it in front of her. "Open it." She hesitated, her hands trembling. Inside the envelope were photos. Nothing scandalous, but damning enough. Shots of her getting out of Liam's car, walking into his cabin, leaving hours later. Her eyes darted across the images, her face a mix of shock and fear. "Mark, I can explain," she stammered. "Then go ahead," I said coldly. "Explain." Lisa stared at the photos, her hands shaking so badly she could barely hold them. Her lips moved as if she was searching for the right words, but nothing came out at first. Finally, she whispered, "Mark, this is not what it looks like." I laughed bitterly. "That is the best you can do? Come on, Lisa. I deserve better than the classic, not what it looks like. Try again." She put the photos down and wiped at her eyes, but the tears only made her look guiltier. "I was going through something, Mark. I felt, I do not know, invisible." "Invisible," I repeated, my voice rising. "You felt invisible. So you decided to have an affair with my best friend?" "It was not like that," she said quickly. "It just happened. I did not mean for it to go that far." "How far did it go?" I asked, leaning forward. "How long, Lisa?" Her voice cracked as she spoke. "It was just a few times. I swear." "A few times?" I said, my chest tightening. "How many is a few? Once? Twice? 10 times? Tell me the truth for once." She dropped her head into her hands, her voice muffled. 3 times. It was only 3 times. "And you expect me to believe that?" "It is the truth," she sobbed. "It is over. I ended it weeks ago. I swear." "Does Megan know?" I asked, my tone icy. Her head shot up, her face pale. "No. Mark, please, you cannot tell her. It would destroy her." "Destroy her?" I snapped. "And what about me, Lisa? What do you think this has done to me?" "I know I hurt you," she said, tears streaming down her face. "But I love you. I love our family. I made a mistake. A terrible mistake. But please do not throw everything away over this." I stared at her, my jaw clenched. "You threw it away the moment you decided to lie to me. Do you have any idea what it feels like to know the person you trusted most was stabbing you in the back? With Liam, of all people?" "I am sorry," she whispered, her voice barely audible. "I was selfish. I know that now." I stood up, my chair scraping loudly against the floor. "I need time to think." Do not talk to me. Do not come near me. Mark, wait. I cut her off. You need to figure out how you are going to live with yourself, Lisa. That is not my problem anymore. For the next few days, the house felt like a war zone, even though neither of us raised our voices again. Lisa avoided me, but I could tell she was watching me from the corner of her eye, waiting for some kind of signal. I gave her nothing. I focused on the kids, who thankfully were too young to understand why their parents were suddenly so tense. But then my phone rang. It was Megan. Mark, she said, her voice trembling. Can we talk? My stomach dropped. Megan was one of the kindest people I had ever met, and the idea of her being caught in the middle of this mess made my chest tighten. Of course, I said. What is going on? It is Liam, she said quietly. He has been acting strange, distant. I think something is going on, and I need you to tell me if you know anything. I closed my eyes and exhaled slowly. Megan, are you sure you want to know? Her voice cracked. I do not know what else to do. Please, Mark. If you know something, tell me. I swallowed hard. It is Lisa, I said. I found out they were seeing each other. I am so sorry, Megan. You do not deserve this. The silence on the other end of the line felt like a punch to the gut. When Megan finally spoke, her voice was shaking with rage and heartbreak. I knew something was wrong, but I kept telling myself I was imagining it. God, how stupid am I? You are not stupid, I said. They are the ones who betrayed us. She sniffled. Thank you for telling me. I need to deal with this. Megan, I said, my voice soft. If you need anything, let me know. She hung up without another word. That night, Lisa tried to approach me again, her eyes red and swollen from crying. Mark, please, she whispered. We need to talk. But before she could say anything else, her phone buzzed on the counter. She grabbed it instinctively, and I saw the name on the screen. Liam. Are you serious right now? I asked, my voice rising. She panicked, fumbling with the phone before putting it face down on the counter. It is not what you think, she said quickly. Then what is it, Lisa? I demanded. Are you two planning your next excuse? Deciding what lie to tell Megan? She shook her head frantically. No, I swear. I have not spoken to him since. I do not want to hear it, I said, cutting her off. I told Megan everything. She deserves the truth, even if you cannot manage to tell it. Lisa's face crumpled, and she sank into a chair. What have you done? She whispered. What you should have done from the start, I said coldly. The fallout was swift and brutal. Megan confronted Liam that same night. By morning, he was out of their house, his things thrown into trash bags on the lawn. Lisa stayed home, pacing the house like a trapped animal. She must have called him a dozen times, but he never answered. I went through the motions of normal life, making sure the kids were fed, their homework done, and the house stayed in order. Every so often, Lisa would try to talk to me, but I shut her down every time. Mark, we need to figure this out, she said one evening after the kids had gone to bed. Figure what out? I asked. You blew up our life. There is nothing left to figure out. Her face twisted with guilt and frustration. I know I messed up, but we have a family. We cannot just throw that away. Do you think I wanted this? I snapped. Do you think I wanted to live in a house where every time I look at my wife, I see betrayal? You did this, Lisa, not me. She started crying again, and I walked away. I could not stand to watch her fall apart. Not because I felt sorry for her, but because I did not have the energy to care anymore. A few days later, Megan called me again. I kicked him out, she said. Her voice was steadier this time, but I could hear the exhaustion behind it. He tried to deny it at first, but when I told him you confirmed everything, he had no choice but to admit it. How are you holding up? I asked. I am angry, she said. Angrier than I have ever been in my life. But I am also relieved. I do not have to keep pretending everything is fine anymore. I know the feeling, I said. You deserve better than this, Mark, she said. We both do. Her words stuck with me. One night, after the kids were asleep, Lisa cornered me in the kitchen. Her voice was desperate. "Mark, I will do anything," she said. "I will go to therapy. I will quit my job if that is what it takes. I will spend the rest of my life making this up to you." I shook my head. "It is not about what you can do, Lisa. It is about what you already did. I trusted you. I gave you everything, and it still was not enough. How am I supposed to come back from that?" "Because you love me?" she said, tears streaming down her face. "I know you do." "I did," I said quietly. "But love cannot survive without trust. And I cannot trust you anymore." She froze, her face crumbling as the weight of my words hit her. "I will always be here for the kids," I continued. "But us? We are done." I moved out a week later, renting a small apartment across town. It was not much, but it was peaceful. Lisa stayed in the house with the kids, and we worked out a schedule to make things as smooth as possible for them. Months passed. I focused on my kids, my work, and my own healing. Then I met Emily. She was kind, funny, and real in a way Lisa never was. For the first time in years, I felt like I could breathe again. As for Lisa and Liam, their fling fizzled out as quickly as it started. Megan finalized her divorce and kept their house, leaving Liam to crash on a friend's couch. Lisa tried to apologize one last time, but by then, I was too far gone to care. Looking back, Lisa's betrayal was the hardest thing I ever endured. But it forced me to grow, to rebuild, and to figure out what I really wanted in life. And for the first time in years, I finally felt free.